What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Unfortunately, we haven't done any uploading in the past week. We didn't get a video up last week. We won't have any fishing content up this week either, just this video. Unfortunately, this is the reason why, and we're about to get into that right now. So we initially, hang on. Let me start from the beginning. This is that classic, what do they say? One 30-minute job, or a 30-minute job is one rusty bolt away from being a 3-hour ordeal or whatever. Well, this ended up being like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I still haven't gotten the parts. We dug into something, and we ended up needing a whole lot more than what we initially expected. So on the original thing I wanted to replace were the bushings for the steering column here. Every dealer calls it something different. Steering column here has some plastic bushings in it, totally worn out. So this usually sits in here. It's got some plastic bushings, so it had no plastic bushings. So it was just able to that's what the motor was doing. You know, it had no bushings. So next thing that was going to happen was it was going to start blasting through this. Well, I don't think it was going to blast through this. This is, I don't know if that's stainless. That might be stainless. I'm pretty sure it's stainless. But it would have blasted either through this aluminum or through this rod right here. Really needed to take care of it. But when we did dig into it, we ran into some really rusty bolts. So how this thing works is you usually have this here with some bushings like that, and then you have your midsection here, your midsection casing that sits like that. So the bolts that go here and here, the bolts that go here and here were super rusted, that went through this damper. So this damper sits here, connects to the mid, that's how it connects to the mid casing, which is pretty wild if you think about it. But yeah, so that's what holds the top of your midsection of your motor to your steering column. This little rubber motor mount, I had to cut these bolts off because they're just so rusted and so rusted out and rounded. I couldn't even grab onto them with anything, and there wasn't enough room to weld anything in there, and the only thing I could do was cut it. And of course, those bolts are cross-shipped from Lord knows where the Crowley gets them from. But other than that, we did run into some other problems. So on this mid casing, your power head sits on top of here. This is actually where your coolant line comes in at. So this pipe goes down in this hole here, down to your impeller or whatnot. So this had a bend in it that sealed here with a little seal. This seal was trashed, and there was a bunch of salt gunked up in here from just, I'm guessing, years of, you know, me running it. Even though I was flushing it, it wasn't getting that big, you know, where it was leaking out. The salt was just kind of trapped there. So flushing it really wasn't doing anything except for trying to get into that little tiny bit that was in there. So we ran into that problem. So we had to get a new pipe because this one was actually cracked a little bit at the bend and the seal was leaking. So we had to get a new one of these water pipes. We had to get a new one of these rubber damper motor mounts. We had to get the bolts that go to that. We also had to order, the boat's a freaking mess. We also had to order these 2 front bolts because these go to the front lower cowling. That's what holds those on there. So I had to cut those off because those were super rusty. Luckily, those are stud and nut, so those came out fairly easy. Other than that, what else do we have to order? You know, we got our power head sitting here in our lower unit. We do have the impeller kit, water pump kit, so we're going to do that before we slap this back on once we get it all back together. But guys, the dang motors, I have this thing completely apart. This is the last time it was probably like this was when it was at factory. I don't think this motor has ever been apart this far since. But yeah, I think I've got it all covered. I think it'll go back together pretty smoothly once I get all the parts that I need for it. We have 2 of the 3 orders on the way. 3 orders, I think. 2 of the 3 orders of parts are on the way. We're still waiting on that 3rd parts order to actually ship out. But we got our, you know, we labeled our bolts and stuff like that we actually did take off. We left the linkage together and the cables on the linkage just because I thought it would be easier just to take this off of here instead of trying to take the cables off and leave it on the motor. But yeah, we got that. Oh, we also had to order so in between here and the bottom of your lower cowling, there's a seal. We had to get that, a thicker rubber seal. We had to get that. We had to order the gasket for the power head because it was trash. What else do we have to order? I think that was it. Right now, I just found that, take this out of here. I just found that this tension bolt, I went to go pop that out of there the other day, it was already sheared off. So I have to easy out that at work. So we'll get that out, and then as soon as we get parts, we'll put it all back together and hopefully get at you guys with some fishing content. We have done some shore fishing. I went wade fishing in Bokelia, only caught one little tiny snook. We went to El Jobim this past weekend, and Casey caught a decent snook. Casey caught a decent slot size snook. I lost the only big snook that hit. We ended up going out there with no live bait because all the bait stores were out of pinfish, and the shrimp are like this big right now. So we didn't get any live bait, so we ended up going out there baitless. Ended up catching some ladyfish. I had one hook up on a whole live ladyfish. Casey caught his on a piece of cut bait. But yeah, we're gonna try to probably do some more night fishing, shore fishing this weekend. But yeah, guys, we're dead in the water here. You know, it's a bummer. It's a bummer, but hey, had to be done. You gotta take care of your stuff because you definitely don't want this to waller out. This failure in this is your whole motor coming off of your boat. This rod right here is what holds your motor to your bracket. So if this would have wore down and wore through the bracket, we would have been out there trying to find a motor on the bottom. But yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. We'll get at you with some fishing content as soon as we can. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.